Welcome. You are listening to the CLNS Roundtable, hosted by myself, Nick Qualia, alongside Lauren Campbell and Adam Ballou. Tonight, we are going to discuss two hot topics in the world of the Boston Red Sox. We're going to talk about John Farrell. Is he doing a decent job this season? Does he deserve to be fired? Will he be fired? And we will also talk about the breaking news today found on clnsradio.com. David Price will be making his return on Monday, even though he got shelled last night in Pawtucket. First, we're going to talk about David Price. We're going to lead it off with that. David Price last night, second rehab start in Pawtucket, Rhode Island for the Paw Sox, gave up 6 runs. 3 of them were earned. 4 of those runs came in the first inning. He lasted 89 pitches, 3.2 innings, and gave up 7 hits. Overall, horrific night. It's terrifying to me, but Lauren, what do you think about David Price coming back on Monday?
I hate it. I absolutely hate it. I think he needs at least another start down in Pawtucket. And the fact that he got, like you said, he got shelled. He got absolutely lit up. And it just, I don't know if it's a desperation move. Like, we don't really have anybody else to fill this spot. And I'm sure he feels fine. I'm sure he feels like mentally fine, physically fine. But there's something obviously not clicking that's not right there for him right now. And if he's getting beat up on in Pawtucket, I don't even want to know what the Chicago White Sox are going to do to him on Monday.
Adam, what are your thoughts?
Well, obviously, as the David Price fan, I'm looking forward to it. I agree with Lauren. I think he probably could use another start or two. Technically, this is his second spring training start, and how great are the rest of the pitchers in the league in their second spring training start? The good thing is his velocity seemed to be really good, 95, 96. I don't remember him throwing that last year when he was healthy. But like she said, too, I don't think you have another option. What's your other option? Do we bring out, Brian Johnson starting on Saturday? Kyle Kendrick is terrible. Henry Owens is awful. He has no control. You think Price has no control in Pawtucket. Owens is even worse. We really don't have another option, so I guess looking at it, I think maybe Price at the level that he's at right now is your best option right there. So why waste him in Pawtucket for another start? Why not just see what he can do? What's the worst thing that can happen? He gets let up and then he gets ridiculed. He's already getting ridiculed for what he did in Pawtucket. So why not give it a shot?
No, but he's not getting ridiculed for what he did on the mound. He's getting ridiculed for walking out on the media. So we all, we know we do have high expectations for him, yes, but so it's not so much what he did do on the mound, it's what happened after the game.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right, Lauren. But you're also right too, Adam. My issue with David Price, it's the pitching. To me, that might be the smallest part of it. He frustrates the hell out of me because we pay him we don't pay him, the Red Sox pay him $31 million a year. I fund that with my beer money, $9.50 for a freaking Bud Light at Fenway Park. So indirectly, he raises my beer prices, so that's another reason why I could hate him. But it's his inconsistency on the mound. He started off the year last year horrendous. I'm sure you guys can remember being excited for opening day against the Baltimore Orioles. You think it's going to be excellent. We got our new ace, David Price, on the mound. We haven't had an ace for a couple of seasons. 2015 was freaking Clay Buchholz as your ace. So we finally have an ace, and he gets lit up at Fenway Park. And I kind of appreciated it in the beginning when he would own up to it and say, I need to be better than that. But then every week, it was every start, it was, I need to pitch better. That's unacceptable out of me. Okay, fine. I get it. It needs to be fixed by you, but do it. Do something about it. And the biggest issue for me is the Twitter. The social media, which I will admit myself that he has been better with it. He hasn't been in the news for a while for it, but social media is such a touchy subject in today's society that if he is able to stay off of it, then he could definitely win a lot of us back. If he stays off of it and he wins, if he doesn't say anything stupid on social media and he wins or at least pitches quality starts, then I think that's going to win over a lot of the fans, because that's a big chunk of it is the way that he acts more than the way that he pitches. The way that he pitches sucks. He should be much better. We expected to get a guy who's pitching like Chris Sale. We didn't get that. I'm also a big proponent of the bridge year. Last season could have been a bridge year. That's really big in Boston, right, guys? Like we know that the pressure builds when you get traded to the Boston Red Sox or sign with the Boston Red Sox. So I'm hoping that last year he just kind of had to feel it out. We're seeing it right now with Craig Kimbrell. Craig Kimbrell is an absolutely dominant force on the mound. Last year he wasn't. This year he's been the best closer in baseball, in my opinion, or the best relief pitcher in baseball, quite frankly. Do I think he's coming back a little early? Yeah, but like you said, Adam, what choice do you have right now? You don't. What are you going to do, start Brian Johnson? No.
Lauren would love that.
Sure would.
That guy couldn't even pitch in Pawtucket, Rhode Island, because
He's been good this year.
he couldn't pitch at Pawtucket because he had anxiety. What's going to happen in Boston?
Hey,
He's gonna be fine. He's gonna be fine on Saturday.
he's fixed.
Oh,
Sure.
you don't get fixed of anxiety. It doesn't happen. Everybody once you have anxiety, it's tough to get rid of.
Zach Greinke have anxiety, and he seemed to be a fine.
Yes,
person.
that's why I didn't want him
Fine.
here either. I did not want him here either, because he wouldn't have been able to handle it. He literally almost didn't pitch in the majors because of his anxiety. And Brian Johnson, listen, anxiety.
Hard sack and got hit in the head with a pitch too. I mean,
Yeah.
I had anxiety too about that.
Yeah, but anxiety it's something tough. It's something tough to deal with, and it's
I have it.
exactly. You guys understand? You can't just get rid of it. It shows up randomly. I think that's gonna happen at the worst times with this guy in Boston. But Brian Johnson is not the conversation today. John Farrell is a conversation today. John Farrell. We are midway through the season. They're a couple games above 500. They're third place in the AL East. The other day we saw him get into a huge a pretty good fight with Drew Pomeranz in the dugout. Adam, what are your thoughts on John Farrell's performance so far this season? Do you think he's going to get fired? What do you think is going to happen with this man?
I don't think he's going to get fired because I don't think they have the guts to fire him in the middle of the season. Plus, I don't know who they would put in replace him with, because their replacement that they should have as the manager is managing in Arizona, and the Diamondbacks are doing very well in the NL West with really nothing on that. I mean, who's on that team right now other than Goldschmidt and
Zach Greinke?
Zach Greinke, and that's it basically. I mean, Torey Lovullo should have been the manager 2 years ago. He should have been the manager last year, and he should be the manager right now. But they didn't have the guts to fire John Farrell back then, and I don't think they're gonna have the guts to do it now. I mean, I'm sorry. I think he should have gone a long time ago, and I think this team is underperforming. And do I think it's totally his fault? Absolutely not. I think Dombrowski's the biggest one to blame, but Dombrowski's not going to get fired. You know, when a team underperforms, as the Red Sox are doing, the first person to go is the manager. We saw it with the Bruins. I mean, me and Lauren cover the Bruins for CLNS, and the Bruins were underperforming and just in a rut, and they finally got up the nerve to fire Claude Julien, who was a good head coach, and the team responded and played really well in the Bruce Cassidy. And I think, you know, they would have done that last year if they would have had the guts to fire John Farrell. I think the team would have responded and played better against with Veluvo. And I understand he won the AA.
We might have just lost Adam.
We lost me last time. Now we're losing Adam.
Adam might be gone. Lauren, I know you and Jess both have this weird infatuation with John Farrell. Do you think he's doing a good job this season? Do you think he's going to get fired? Do you think he should be fired?
Do I think he's doing a good job? I think he's doing a good enough job for what he has. Because, you know, he doesn't have David Price. He doesn't have Thornburg. He doesn't have Carson Smith right now. You know, Pablo Sandoval, that's a whole other discussion. But he's doing what he can with what he's given. Yes, the offense should be more productive with those names and those bats in the lineup. And do I think he's going to get fired? No. Does he deserve to get fired? No. 2 years ago, totally different story, but, you know, we know how that happened. He had to leave with lymphoma, and then he came back, and, you know, they couldn't fire him 2 years ago, and then last year they had no justification with the AL East and everything, and they can't fire him. There's no replacement. And kind of going back to what Adam said about how the Bruins fired Claude Julien, brought in Bruce Cassidy, and how they performed well. Of course they performed well. I mean, it's somebody they trusted. It's somebody who was in the organization. They can't just bring in some jamoke off the street and put him behind the bench and expect them to the players to respond well to him. New voice, I'm all for a new voice, when the time is right. But I don't think the time is right. I think he's well respected by the players for the most part. The whole Drew Pomeranz thing, I think it's just frustration boiling over, and words are going to get said. It's, John Farrell's kind of like the dad of the team. You're going to exchange words with everyone every once in a while. I'm sure he's not the only manager and player in that league for them to exchange words, kind of go at it. It happens. It happens all the time. It's not always on camera, but it does happen. And I don't think he's going to get fired unless somehow this team absolutely tanks, doesn't make the playoffs, and just has an absolute crap run.
Okay, and my whole issue with John Farrell is that I don't think he's aggressive enough. There's been multiple times where I've thought to myself, if this were Terry Francona, because that's obviously who he's going to be compared to a lot. If this is Terry Francona is going to come out of the dugout and argue with the umpire and at least have a discussion of why this ball was called a ball, why the strike was called a strike, yada yada. But going to the players' relationship with him, the whole thing over the past couple of years has been the players have a great relationship with John Farrell. And that's kind of been saving his ass. Because as Dombrowski said stupidly last year, they're not holding on to John Farrell because of his in-game management. That is not the most important thing, which is asinine for a baseball team. How is the decisions that you're going to make helping you win or lose not the most important aspect of a manager? That is bananas to me. It doesn't make any sense. So the best thing about him was that he really had a good relationship with the players. Okay? But now it's coming out that there's a good amount of players on the team, according to Jared Carrabis of Barstool Sports, saying that they feel like John Farrell didn't stick up for them enough. So it sounds like that relationship's starting to sour. And I agree with you on one aspect of the John Farrell issue. Who are you going to bring in? There's really nobody else. The guy that you had to kind of replace him, your backbone, was Torey Lovullo. Lovullo's gone. Great manager right now in Arizona, doing a fine job. Arizona's doing well. The one person that I would fire John Farrell for, and that's only if he says yes, is Jim Leland. Because Jim Leland, absolutely, he does not want to manage it. He doesn't. Hello, Adam. He does not. He does not want to manage. You've been gone for a little while. Jim Leland does not want to manage a professional baseball team anymore, but he did just manage the World Baseball Classic. Dombrowski and Jim Leland already have a pretty solid relationship from what I know. If Dombrowski were to call Jim Leland and say, hey, we're stuck in a pickle right now. We want to fire Farrell. We just need you for the rest of this year, and we'll take care of the manager issue over the offseason. Will you come manage? If he says yes, you take that, and that's your out to get rid of John Farrell. Do I think John Farrell's doing a bad job this season? Not really. I think he's and I hate to say it because I destroyed him so much last season. I think John Farrell's doing a pretty decent job this year. I think he's making the right calls, and he's not doing as much of the righty-lefty bullcrap that he has been doing in the past. But on the same side of things, I have seen some issues, and I think this team needs a kick in the ass. But, guys, give me your final thoughts. We have about a minute left on this recording, so, Adam, quick final thoughts on John Farrell. 10 seconds.
10 seconds, oh my God. Like I said, I think he should go. I think he should have gone a couple of years ago. I think, that would be the kick in the ass that the Red Sox really need. But, they're playing a little bit better now, so who knows? And I don't think it's going to happen, though. I'm not holding my breath on that.
All right, Lauren?
Yeah, I mean, I'm you know me, I'm a Farrell person. I'm a Farrell person through and through. And, the next few series are going to prove a lot. And you can't blame Farrell for the injuries that are on this team, that the people who are out for the season are out for the season. And like I said, he's doing well with what he's given. And I think the next few series are just going to prove a lot.
I think John Farrell will be here for the remainder of the season. I don't think he will be here for the 2017 season because I'm worried they're not going to make the playoffs. 2018 season. 2018 season. But thank you for listening to the CLNS Roundtable with Lauren Campbell, Adam Ballou, and myself, Nick Qualia. We'll talk to you guys another time. Thanks for listening.